Chung, and I've got Meniere's, and I'm also an internal medicine physician. And sometimes you skip the attack. You get the Meniere's attack, and that's sort of what I'm about to have right now. And I can feel it usually like a half an hour before it maybe 15 minutes, half an hour before it occurs. Because usually what happens, my right ear gets very very full. And it gets I get very very nauseous and sort of sick, and then the room starts to spin when I turn my head too quickly, and I can tell I'm going to have an attack, and I can tell right now I'm about to have an attack, and so I'm videotaping this just to sort of show you or tell you what I do when I get a Meniere's attack, because it's pretty severe, and I can feel it right now that this one's going to be pretty severe. Just came back from a trip, and my ear is completely plugged on the right ear, and it was ringing somewhat, but it's just full. And what's happening is I think the pressure's building up inside the middle ear, and I'm just getting nauseous and getting sick. And I can tell that the room's moving a lot. And for me, when I get a Meniere's attack, it's not just the nausea. The room starts to spin, and it's usually like about a 35-40 degree angle to the left side, and it either spins forward or it spins backwards. Every once in a while it shuffles a little bit, and then I feel like I'm going to shit, but I can tell I'm about to have an attack. So this is what I usually do when I'm about to get an attack, and I'm just feeling very, very nauseous. For me, it doesn't really help if I'm sitting down or lying down, but what it does help a lot for me is if I don't move my head too much. So I'm just staring into the camera right now, and I do notice that if I keep one eye closed, the visual input doesn't exacerbate this as much. And so a couple things I definitely do when I get an attack, because I'm like half deaf in the right ear, I put my hearing aid in. For some reason, the extra stimuli from the hearing seems to help suppress some of the symptoms of the attack. And the next thing I do is I start putting the scopolamine patch on right away, because the scopolamine patch takes about a half an hour to for it to work or kick in. And so I carry a scopolamine patch in my wallet at all times. Transderm scopolamine patch. You open it up. I actually have one opened from a day before, or 2 days ago, or actually about a week ago. And so this one's still, I only wore this one for like half a day, so it still has about a day and a half or 2 days of medicine left. I put it back underneath the ear that's affected. So I put it under there, and then that takes about a half an hour to hour work. So this is the first thing I do. And I always carry this scopolamine patch in my wallet, because it always helps. I actually usually carry a little bit of rescue medicines in a little carry thing, and I always carry like some Zofran. It's very benign, doesn't make you sleepy. You can carry some Meclizine, but it does make you sleepy. And I always carry some Ativan, which I carry them in those little packets here. I carry a little Ativan. So it depends if I'm working or if I have to be awake or I can't be sleepy. First things first, I put the scopolamine patch on. Next thing I do is I take a little Zofran. That's like I usually carry with me, and this is a sublingual Zofran. Make sure you try getting the sublingual Zofran, because the oral Zofran is really bitter and it doesn't taste very good, and it just doesn't kick in as quick. So the sublingual Zofran works very quickly. I put it under the tongue, and I get some water. Get some water, and I just pray that it goes away. So a couple things. Take the Zofran, put the scopolamine patch on for me. If I don't have to work, or I don't have to like be anywhere particular, and I can sleep for the next like couple hours. I along with those two things, I actually take a little Ativan, or Klonopin or Valium, whatever you have. But I mean, definitely take a little bit of a benzo. So here's a little Ativan I had to take for this. It's spinning a little bit. Sorry. It's spinning this way. It's spinning backwards a little bit. So I take a little Ativan. And that's sublingual too. You can take it orally. Because again, the Ativan calms down the nerves. You could take a Meclizine too. I don't personally like Meclizine. It makes me too off. Now, a couple other things along with that. Um, God. A couple other things that they recommend or you can do or is the visual fields, visual contact does help with the symptoms. So for some people, it helps to open. They say to open the eye and stare at something, which does help, and don't move the head. So I mean, if you have glasses, I don't really need glasses, but sometimes the glasses sharpen the vision a little bit. It does help some. You put the glasses on and it tries to sharpen the vision. The other thing you could do is you could try the massage thing. Sometimes this helps for me. I put it here, and then I just massage out the ear, and it does help some. This helps more for a daily basis to kind of keep things going. The other thing I do is they have this acupressure type pens. These pens that have, it's the regular pen, but it has like a little vibrating tip, and then there's certain points on the back of the head area, acupressure points that you can push, and it vibrates, and it seems to open things up or help with this. The other thing you can do is there's sorry, I'm a little scattered. Anyways, with this, a couple things you could do. There are some acupressure points that you can actually hit that actually do just transiently help with the nausea. So if you take your wrist and you go, it's about 2.5 to 3 finger breaths below this line here to right there. So about three finger breaths right there. There's a little pressure point. You can actually take your thumb and push on that pressure point on both sides of your wrist and hold it there for maybe about a minute, 2 minutes or so. Again, you see the wrist, and you do 2.5 to 3 finger breaths right below that. So it's right there. Acupressure points. So that's one acupressure point. And it helps some, and it relieves some of the nausea. It's very transient, it doesn't work permanently, but it works okay to sort of suppress some of the symptoms. Actually, I'm starting to feel a little bit better now with the Zofran and the hearing aid in. It's not quite moving as much. Again, the AcuPen, or this is an acupuncture pressure pen, or if you don't even have the thing vibrating, this little vibrating one, if you just use the tip of the pens, you can push on. There's a point right behind, it's called the mastoid right there. There's another point right here. There's a good point right in front of your right ear. You can push. There's actually some good points on the feet that actually work really well to decrease the amount of sort of help with some of the nausea. I hate to show you this, but and it sort of looks crude, but I'm sorry, but I'll show you some points. At the bottom of the feet, there's a point approximately right between the big toe and the first and the second toe, right about there. I think it's about there, but I've got an pen that stimulates with a little bit of electricity, and then you put it there and you stimulate that point. There's another point on the back of the foot, right between the first and the second toe, and there's another point right here, right sort of like where the bones attach or intersect, and you can stimulate those 2 points, and that actually sometimes suppresses things too. So anyways, the big point is if you're getting an attack of Meniere's, is you probably want to go into a quieter area with less stimulation. You want to keep your head without moving too much, because when you move the head too much, it moves even more. And then try taking the medicines early to sort of push down the symptoms. Again, what I use is I put the scopolamine patch for it to kick in about an hour from now. I take a Zofran, which really does help with the nausea, and then it doesn't make the vertigo go away, but then it helps with the nausea. And then I take a little Ativan if I don't have to drive anywhere or go anywhere or be anywhere, right? I don't have to, if I'm not at work. And then as far as visual things go, wearing some glasses, opening the eyes. There's some thoughts that if you have something that you can stare at and keep your eyes focused on that for rebalancing, it does help with some of the vertigo. The visual fields actually sort of input into the vestibular balance centers, and that'll help. And the last thing I do is the acupressure points. I just sort of pointed out, and then possibly some vibration, but that's more for daily use to help keep this from occurring. Anyways, sorry, I'm having a little bit of attack right now, and these are the things that I do when I get a Meniere's attack. Thanks.